everything is software engineering. That's what I think, because every tool that's been communicating with each other, everything's that been synchronizing with each other, all of the system, the inputs, the outputs, everything is controlled by a back end or a front end or full stack engineer. A software engineer is a better software engineer with the help of AI, rather than completely eradicating AI from your careers, and or completely accepting or completely relying on it for your career.
Welcome to the Junior Jobs Podcast, where we give new software engineers actionable job search advice relevant to today's job market. In today's developer interview, I'm talking with Ali Panjwani, who got his first job as a software engineer 3 months ago, where we discuss if learning to code is still worth it, given recent advancements in AI. And to help you in your own job search, this week I'm giving away a free 6-month LinkedIn Premium subscription valued at $180. So to enter the raffle, comment below with a link to your LinkedIn profile, and I'll draw names this Friday. Thank you, Ali, for joining us today. Yeah, in our discussion, as I mentioned in the introduction, I'd like to focus on your decision to get into software engineering. As I know, the increased focus on AI in recent years has caused a lot of new developers a lot of anxiety as to whether this path is still viable for them. So as you think about your story, how did you feel as you approached the decision as to whether to get into software engineering?
So basically, during my graduation, I studied multiple courses. So a lot of them included software engineering as well as AI. So before even, like, what I felt was that ChatGPT was one of the biggest impacts of what, or I'd say the biggest thing that AI produced. Before that, it was something big, but not as every individual has like interacted with it or have used it before. So before ChatGPT, I studied AI. Then I had a course on deep learning, then fundamentals of computer vision. So I had a pretty good idea what's going on in the field right now. But what I felt was that these fields were really lacking what there should be at the basis of for someone who's studying computer science and then he's studying these courses. I felt these were more kind of advanced things rather than starting just from the basic. And that's
Mhm,
where
mhm.
software engineering came, because uh, it totally like told me how input and outputs are working, how communication is being happening, different stuff about like simple as a messaging queue. So the questions on how the systems were communicating with each other, how the inputs and outputs were producing, how there were memory consumptions, how they were optimizing the processes. Those all questions were answered when I started pursuing software engineering. So I felt that was something which like filled my curiosity and which helped me explore this field a lot. And in my perspective, this would help me in future if I'd like to pursue any of the courses you were saying or any of the fields you were telling me. Like I can pursue it afterwards because I know how things are working on the base.
Yeah, a lot of new developers that I talk to ask, is it even worth getting into software engineering right now with the advent of AI and ChatGPT? Do I instead need to focus on something like prompt engineering instead of actual understanding of the underlying software and the logic and the patterns behind it? But kind of as you were talking, I think you have the right mindset. The best prompt engineers, no matter how advanced AI becomes, are going to be those that understand how systems operate. So they know what types of questions to ask.
Yes.
They know how to handle the output and use it effectively. They know how to iterate on it because they know how the systems operate and work.
Mhm. Sure. Yeah, I guess you've pretty much answered your own question. But for me, just the basic lineup is, for example, right now the universities are still teaching you data structures. For me, studying data structures is not very important considering how AI is when it comes to programming. But for me, if I don't know, like, see, there are multiple data structures available to achieve a single thing. So if I know everything, it's in my hand which data structure would I use rather than I'm giving this decision to an AI. Because I feel like at some level, I might be wrong,
Well,
but at some level, the AI won't be able to handle the large enterprise level systems. So, still, universities are teaching you how linked list works, or how queue works, or how graph works, because they want to teach you the implementation of how these things were made, how these things internally work themselves. Like, I used to program in C, so there is a library for every data structure I wanted to use. But still, I was learning these things in my university because because that gave me the power to get into the deepest of my software systems and deciding. Like, for example, one of the courses that was the most beloved was parallel and distributed computing. Like, you have control over each and every thread of your computer, and that's
mhm.
because you know how to control them rather than giving all the control to a machine, because I don't think the machine can see or create the future rather than what you are creating. If you are creating an enterprise level system, you are creating it to survive for basically, if you are making something in Pakistan, you are making it to survive for the next 20-25 years, because bringing change here is very hard. So if you're making a system
Mhm.
for someone, that will live for minimum 10 to 15 years. If people are giving money for making that system, they will like want that system to work for a lot of time. So to keep that system relevant for a lot of time, you should know every bit of the system. And I, being an advocate for software engineering, I feel like that gives the biggest power to me as a software engineer, controlling every bit of my system.
Yeah, and if you know all of that, the underlying parts of the system, then going back to what I was saying earlier, you know what questions to ask ChatGPT,
Yes.
as opposed to just leaving the decision entirely up to a computer that
Yeah.
doesn't have the context of the system you're working in. And then my use of ChatGPT, and this may not be true for all AI, but my perception is that it's very past looking and not necessarily future looking, in the sense that it's an aggregation of knowledge at the current state and time, and sharing with you, best practices, or even, not necessarily even the current state of time up until what, 2021,
Yeah. Yeah.
for depending on your version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I want to look forward now and invent my own frameworks, or use my own procedures, and invent my
Hmm.
own things, I need to be creative in my use of the technology that I have in front of me, and not necessarily rely on a tool that's entirely dependent on aggregating and evaluating past legacy code. And then as far as you talked about building things for the next 25 years there in Pakistan. That's really true for a lot of software
For
development
most
teams.
people, I guess.
I've been yeah, I've been building software for over a decade now, and it has never ceased to surprise me how many client systems I work with that are still on versions of SDKs, frameworks, languages, that came out a decade or more ago. So even though AI is this exciting new field, I think of it similar to the invention of cloud technologies, where
Yes.
yes, it's a hot, sexy new technology. Yes, new companies are starting and using it and launching new ventures and being successful there. But there are still hundreds of thousands of companies and code bases that are still on prem, that still need to be migrated, and it's going to be like that for decades for the cloud. It's probably going to be the same for decades for software engineering in general regarding AI. What do you think?
Uh, really. Because see, what I told you previously was that the way ChatGPT has impacted each and every individual. Now everyone knows that there is something called as AI. Like I am pursuing my career as a software engineer, and every other person just assumes that I am working something related to AI, or everyone
Yeah.
has advice for me to work something related to AI because that's the new hot topic. Each big
Hmm.
investment is going to AI, and each big conference is like for AI. But basically, it's just a model. It's just something that's just a supporting material behind the infrastructure. Everything is software engineering. That's what I think, because every tool that's been communicating with each other, everything's that been synchronizing with each other, all of the system, the inputs, the outputs, everything is controlled by a back end or a front end or full stack engineer. So I feel like this is something that will stay. In my perspective, a software engineer is can be or is a better software engineer with the help of AI rather than completely eradicating AI from your careers and or completely accepting or completely relying on it for your career, especially when it comes to software engineering. Like for me, uh, see, I am just associate level software engineer. I'm just someone who has entered this career, so I might not know about everything about this. And to be very honest, I might not know everything about other careers as well. But as people are seeing the AI's impact on marketing or AI's impact on advertising, I feel like everyone thinks that someday the AI will completely, replace your career. And I thoroughly researched on it. I discussed with a lot of people, and I just got one answer that AI is not legally or like morally compliant to replace a person if there's no such impact. You can replace things with AI. But for instance, if a car is completely driven by AI and it kills someone, who will you be taking to the courts? The car or the system or what?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hopefully not the software engineer who wrote the
yeah,
software. I mean, that's so much
yeah,
liability I'm now
that's what I was
exposed
saying.
to. Yeah.
Because AI learns itself. So the whole buzz around AI or data or cloud basically is something that's developing. But software
Hmm.
engineer is basically a developed field, and I just want to say this that for foreseeing future, I don't think so. Something can replace something so strong such as software engineering. For instance, NoSQL came,
Hmm.
and now it's like captivating markets. But I guess for years or bygones, I don't think so. It will ever replace SQL. Or if we'll talk about the
Yeah.
new um, programming languages, such as if you call about JavaScript, oh, not JavaScript, but like Rust or Go or new things coming, I don't think so. It would replace something as strong as Java or C. No doubt they might have their own pros and cons, but they won't be getting
Sure.
replaced. Like removing Java from 3 billion devices overnight is not possible. So, thinking
Yeah.
of yourself as not pursuing a career in Java or not pursuing a career and C is short sightedness, I guess, because it will stay for me it would stay for a very long time. And
Hmm.
if you can advance yourself in it, like who's saying you to be a mediocre? Be the best in your career, be the best software engineer around. I feel like you might need to change your career in future, seeing the progression. But if you want to stay a software engineer for your whole life, I've seen people doing it, you can still do it.
Yeah. You really can't get married to a specific language or framework. I
Yeah.
feel like the new hotness right now is, React for web development at least.
Hmm.
And I've been
Well,
doing this for over a decade, which means I've already had to pivot my career at least once. I started out doing mobile development in Objective
yeah.
C, and I thought that was the bee's knees, so to speak. I thought I was going to be set for life. It was kind of an archaic language. A lot of people didn't like it. The barrier to entry was pretty high, but I enjoyed it. So I thought I'd be safe for a while. And then Swift came out, and I had to learn this whole new language and technology. And then cloud became a big thing, and I was working in consulting, so cloud and back end optimizations, that became a bigger thing. So I've already had to live through a few cycles myself just within the last 10 years. And I would agree that the most successful software engineers are going to be those that understand that the foundational principles, quickly pick up new technologies, and are willing to adapt to the market. And when I look back at people with longer careers than me, I'm thinking of my dad, for example. He started as a COBOL programmer,
Um,
and he doesn't do COBOL anymore, but it's still around. It still exists, and there's still a demand. And even since people aren't learning it as much, they can pull in some pretty big salaries to
yeah,
maintain that old language. So I feel like yes, change is happening, and we'll see a lot of change throughout our lives, but I wouldn't necessarily lose sleep over it. It's going to be gradual, and as long as you stay engaged with the market and stay up to date with the latest and keep doing your best, you'll stand out and you'll be totally fine. Was there ever a point though where you were afraid of AI, or you were afraid of your ability to be successful as a software engineer because of AI?
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, the whole final year of my graduation was just what you said, because um, this was something that came, and like every other person was talking about it. So overnight, what, like, at the beginning of your studies, like your university studies, you have a goal in your mind, or have a blur picture of what you would like to do. And to be very honest, I have explored a lot of things. I went and tried, like, what would I say, information security, but that really broke my myth of that the hacker man image and everything what you see in movies and all. So I always wanted to feel that way, but I never felt that, and eventually I just skipped that. I didn't feel I could do it for my whole, like, I see career as what I'd be doing every morning, what I'd be doing 5 days a week, what I'd be doing for my whole life. If considering software engineer, I might be mingling around things. I'd be changing some languages. I'd be changing some tech stacks. But what would stay would be the core principles, and I would like to work on those core principles, or work around those core principles for rest of my life. Pretty hopefully, yeah.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
hopefully. So during the university time, when I was looking for the careers, I went into this, and we used to have semester projects for every course. So I used to make projects for AI. I made my project for fundamentals of computer vision. I had my whole final year project on partially on AI, and I felt the lacking of that development kind of a thing, which or I felt the lacking of owning my own thing. Like, if I build a system, even if I build a microservice, I'd love to own it. But when it comes to AI, I've been working on someone else's model. How can I own it? I didn't feel that I had made something, because see, this is a very it is a very old industry, but as people are getting exposed to it now, it's having its own share of growth now. So as people are experiencing it now, for a lot of people, implementing a data science model or implementing a machine learning model makes them a machine learning engineer, rather than
Hmm.
going deep into what the maths is, or how the model is working, or how to optimize your model according to your input, or they're just matching what the model wants, changing the input according to it, and just running it and calling themselves machine learning engineer. and I feel
Yeah.
I'm very sorry for them. But that's not what engineering mean. Like then you'd be an implementation person rather than being an engineer. And my one of my cousins who's like the space kind of a guy, he works at I guess some space agency, I forgot the name. So he always taunts me on like being an implementationist rather than working on or like engineering something. So a lot of people have like forgotten or skipped the whole part of engineering in the software engineering. They
Yeah.
are just implementing things.
In English, we say something like those machine learning models are black boxes, in the
Yeah.
sense that you just kind of put data into it, you get stuff out, and you kind of trust the algorithm. You don't really know what you've done. But software engineering, when I think of whether it's machine learning or data science, cybersecurity, software engineering seems the most dynamic in the sense that you're required to understand the foundations of multiple different disciplines,
Yes.
uh, and you can leverage all of them, to build a comprehensive solution, which is why I got into software engineering myself, and I didn't choose a particular specialty. But I think this has been really good. Hopefully, a lot of the conversation today brought some hope to new software engineers that are trying to break into
Yeah.
tech as they look at AI and understand that it's just a tool that can be used, that you should leverage it as much as you can. Because really, and I'm taking this quote from somewhere else, AI is not going to replace software engineers, but software engineers who use AI will replace software engineers who do not use AI. So definitely
Sure.
include it as
Right.
part of your workflow. Yeah. Well, Ali, that is all the time that we have for today. So I really just want to thank you for coming on, helping share some of your stories, some of your feelings as you evaluated your own career path. I wish you the best of luck as you
Thank
gain
you
more
so much.
experience. And thank you to everybody that's listening, and we will catch you all next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Junior Jobs Podcast. We hope you found today's interview helpful as you navigate your own job search in tech. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, as that helps us reach more developers in need. And don't forget to check the show notes for details on today's sponsor and other job search services that we provide. Thanks for listening and have a great day.